So after yesterday's video, a lot of you guys were asking me, yo Skills, what weapon was I using? Yo Skills, what build is that you were using? And I forgot that I never posted it on this channel. So I always like to have all my builds on both of my channels. So here you guys go. So if you guys haven't seen this build, this is probably one of my favorite builds to run in the Division 2 this season. Yes, rifles are back. They're amazing. They put out a ton of damage, as you guys can see here. We were hitting 1.5 all the way up to about 4 million, depending on what we were shooting at, depending on what stacks we had, depending on what modifiers we had going off at that time. So if you guys are looking for a build that can get through heroic content really well, you can also use this in legendary. We actually had a full stream where we did every legendary mission with a version of this build, and I actually had a build that did less damage, and I was running a memento bag. So this right here will definitely do that, and I'm actually liking it a lot. I love the talent with this setup, and you guys are just seeing the damage is there, the numbers are there. There's a reason why all of you guys who don't know what builds I'm running were asking, yo Skills, what build is that? So I think it's time, let's break down the build. We are running the Urban MDR. This is probably one of my favorite rifles to run in the game at the moment. The Urban MDR, you can sitting at 272,000 total damage. This is without any of the stacks active. This number gets pretty insane once you start building your stacks. Now we have 380 RPM, 46 in the magazine, 80% headshot damage, and 60% optimal range. We do have 20% weapon damage here, so that's 20% expertise, so we are getting a little bit more damage there. We have rifle, critical damage, and damage to targets out of cover on this, exactly what you want. Now I like boomerang. Critical hits have a 50% chance to return the bullet to the magazine. If a bullet is returned to the magazine, the next shot has 40% increased damage. What this does is it makes these 46 rounds last a lot longer, and it increases your damage by 40% of that for that bullet. That's why boomerang for me is an amazing, especially amazing talent to run on rifles, and typically boomerang is what I do run. Now we have stability on here for the scope. We have 20 rounds in the magazine. We have 30% stability and then 30% accuracy. Since we are running the modifiers, we don't have to worry about putting crit chance, crit chance, crit chance, and it allows it to be a lot more stable. And I'll show you guys the modifiers that I do use for this season. For your secondary, you can run absolutely whatever you want. Here you can go with the Scorpio, you can run the Eagle Bear, you can run whatever weapon you want. It's really up to you. The main weapon you're going to be using is this Urban MDR. So we are running the Steelworks mask, and that's going to be a one piece for the 10% armor on kill. We pair this up with the gunner class that gives us 20% armor on kill. We have 170,000 armor rolled here, crit damage, crit chance, and then we have a 12% critical hit damage mod. Exactly what you guys want to go with this. For the chest piece, we went with the Cheska chest piece. We're going to have 8% critical hit chance for the one piece. We have weapon damage, critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and a critical hit damage mod. We go down, we have obliterate, critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. With the modifiers, we will be pushing about 60% crit chance at all times. Remember, obliterate stacks up to 20 times, so you can have up to a 20% extra weapon damage on your build, and we typically always have it active at max stacks. For our holster, we're running a two-piece Zoo. This gives us 15% magazine size and 20% rifle damage. Probably the best two-piece you can run with the rifle set. We have weapon damage, critical damage, and critical hit chance here. For the knee pads, we have the Fox Pair knee pads for 10% rifle damage. If you run a rifle build, you probably want a two-piece Zoo and a one-piece Overlord because it gives you that extra rifle damage, right? So we have weapon damage, damage targets out of cover 8%, and 12% critical hit damage. For our second piece of Zoo, we are running the gloves. We have weapon damage on here, critical damage, critical chance. Now, some people may say, why don't you run the Eagle's Grass? Well, that means that we're gonna have to either sacrifice some crit damage or crit chance on the build. And with already having a lot of accuracy and stability, you don't even need to run this name, but you can if you want. I like this piece right here because of the crit damage and crit chance. I'd rather keep my crit a little bit higher, so that way I hit a little bit harder. For the backpack, we went the Grupo Sommar backpack for the 13% critical damage. We have weapon damage on our critical chance, critical damage, and critical damage mod. And then we have Unstoppable Force. If I'm not running the Grupo backpack, I will run something like the Memento backpack. And you've probably seen another build of that one, but the Grupo is probably one of the better pieces to run, especially if you just want to run all reds. We have killing an enemy increases total weapon damage by 5% for 15 seconds. Now this stacks up 5 times. That means you can have 25% extra total weapon damage for 15 seconds, and as long as you get a kill, it will refresh that stack at max stacks. Now, if we check out the stats, you'll notice that we have 272,000 weapon damage. That's without any of the buffs going. We have 47% crit chance, but we're always going to be at 60% because of the modifiers. We have 182% crit damage, 80% headshot damage. We have the 18% damage targets out of cover. Plus, look at the stability, 70% accuracy, 40%. That's why you don't really need the Eagle's Grasp. And if you guys want to have a little bit more damage and less armor, which I think about 900,000 armor is actually good on this build, because we're getting about 182,000 armor on kill because we are running the gunner class and we have that one piece. But I feel like because we have 20% expertise in our urban MDR, you can actually sacrifice that one red for a blue. If we check out our modifiers, we do go with all out. All out's probably my favorite one to run. What I like doing is, once I get my stack up on Retribution, because Retribution, what does it do? Shooting enemies inside medium range, up to 100 stacks. For every stack, you gain 0.5% critical chance. That means you get up to 50% critical chance. But you know, we're already sitting at 47%. So if we get this about a little bit more than a quarter away, we're sitting at 60% crit chance. So I like locking that in, and then I like going with by the teeth and locking in long range, and that's why I'm gonna hit those high shots. That's where you're starting to see those crazy numbers. And then we have liability, and that's gonna be for our short range that we gain 30% more damage to them. So overall, the modifiers are insane here. And then you add a really good build, and that's where you guys will shine, because the modifiers with really good build, with rifle builds, have been insane. You guys are seeing earlier, we did almost 3 to 4 million. Here we're doing 2.7. We probably hit a couple 3 million shots in a little bit. But again, I have been having a total blast with this, and this is kind of my go-to build. This is the one that I've been using on most of my videos recently. When a lot of you guys ask me, yo, Skills, what build are you running? What gun is that? The Urban MDR with this rifle build is absolutely insane. And again, you can run this with the Grupo bag with Unstoppable Force, or if you really want to go and have a little bit more survivability, you can go with something like the Memento bag, which is actually really good too. But yeah, this is the build right here. So if you guys watched the last video and this is the build you were looking for, this is the one I've been running in most of my videos. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Appreciate the support, appreciate the love recently on the videos. If you guys could do me a favor, you enjoyed the video, just leave a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already and you're new around here, sub to this channel, and definitely check out my main channel where we typically go live daily over there, and we've been playing a ton of games. So make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels so that way you guys don't miss any of the content. But we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. Appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I'll see you guys in the next one. Nothing but skills out.